Our next instrument is the tamborim, Brazilian tambourine. Has nothing to do with the tambourine. So it's a small drum, we hold it with the hand, and we play the tambourine with a multiple stick. Normally it's 2 or 3 sticks together. So that we're gonna give that flam sound that's very characteristic to the tambourine. At first, to hold the instrument, you just leave the weight of the instrument in the index, ring, and a pinky. So you hold this way, leaving the middle finger free. And then with the thumb, you slightly touch the drum head to get off the main overtones. So the middle finger is very important. It's going to be free to keep open and closing the instrument. So if you touch the drum head from the bottom, you're going to close the sound. If you let it open, you're going to open the sounds. And also the stick, you never just play just the sound of the drum head. Normally, it's almost a rim shot kind of stroke. Okay, that's going to be a more characteristic sound. Let's start with exercise 43. Exercise 43 is pretty much, instead of keeping the 16 notes, straight 16 notes, we're going to use the middle finger to play the third 16 note. So we're going to have, instead of 16 notes, we're going to have this pattern. Important is this pattern. Don't make an accent in a downbeat. So pretty much the accents or the half accents is in a second and in a fourth 16 note. Instead of. We learned in the beginning we should avoid accents in a downbeat. So that's a good example. So let's do exercise 43. 1 and 2 and. A little bit faster. Now exercise 44. 1 and 2 and. I'd like to make some consideration about this exercise. It's good for the phrasing to slightly turn the instrument while you're touching with the finger. So instead of keeping the instrument straight, just turn. That's just going to help you to give you a better feeling of the phrase. So let's do it again. 44. 1 and 2 and. Now exercise 45. That's another technique we use when we play the tambourine, is turning the instrument. So instead of the finger from the down, we're gonna use the instrument turning. So it's pretty much you're not gonna use a stroke down and a stroke up. It's gonna be pretty much keeping the same movement. You just turn the instrument. So keeping the same arm movement, you're gonna have the instrument hitting in both ways. Exercise 46 is just an example how to turn the instrument. It's very important to get this almost a kind of flam sound, but really, so you're gonna come with both arms up, turn and down. This motion. It's important to relax your arms. Okay, let's do this. So that's exercise 46. Relax your arms and come down. You're not striking 2 times, you're just doing this. After you got this, let's go to exercise 47. Now we're going to start building the 60 notes. A little bit faster. Let's build a little bit further our pattern, and that's exercise 48. Important to note is that, especially in a tambourine, you're going to see that the 60 notes are not even. We talked about this before, but especially in a tambourine, you're going to see that it's pretty different. So the 60 notes are not going to be even, and that's what makes the Brazilian groove a Brazilian groove. So let's repeat 48. 1 and 2 and. And continue exercise 49. And the last one, exercise 50. That's pretty much the pattern going on all the time. So, like the other exercises, relax your body and let's having fun. If you're in a big ensemble, you may leave it open. It's going to sound more. If you're in a small ensemble, you may close it. It's going to sound a little bit less. But important is moving your arms, moving your body, keep on smiling, and let's groove. Let's do it again, number 50. 1 and 2 and. So that's the Repinique, our next instrument. Repinique is pretty much a very high-pitched metal tom-tom with drum head in both sides. And the Repinique is the guy who's going to make the main calls, the main question and answers with the rest of the group. If you think in a big batucada ensemble, in a big bateria with 100 people playing, the guys on the surdos and the caixa and the other instruments pretty much will keep a steady rhythm. The Repinique guys are the one who's going to have more freedom to improvise. And especially one Repinique is going to be the soloist who is going to make the calls with the other of the ensembles. Bloom, bloom, bloom. Bloom, bloom. You're going to see a little bit about these calls at the end of the book. So now let's talk about the technique on the Repinique. The technique on the Repinique we play with one stick and with a hand. So the one stick is going to perform a triple stroke and the fourth with a hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But as we want to avoid every downbeat as we've seen since the beginning of the book, so if we just make 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to have a kind of accent, a strong downbeat feeling. And we want to avoid any kind of downbeat. So when you play in this triple stroke, it's very important that you get used to make a movement to the outside of the instrument. So the first note we're going to hit the drum head, the second rim shot, the third on a rim, and the fourth on a hand. So there will be an automatic movement. So instead of we're going to have. So let's start exercise 51 to build up this rhythm that I just explained. So number 51. Now, exercise 52. Let's do 52 faster. And exercise 53 is pretty much the same as before, but now we're going to have every beginning of the 60 note, we're going to have a flam. The hand will help perform a flam. Notice about how to hit the hand. I think it's easier if you do a kind of a rotation movement and you hit the instrument like this. Pretty much this part of the hand, you're going to hit the rim, and just your fingers, like a conga stroke, you're going to hit the drum head. So slide your arm up and down and touch with the hand. So 53. A little bit faster, 1 and 2, and. And the last one, exercise 54, is pretty much a call. We're going to cover at the end of the book. But it's a typical call that the Repinique is going to be doing with the rest of the ensemble. Going to do exercise 54, at first slower and then faster. That's the call. So, ba-boom, 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 and tutti. Okay, we're going to cover this at the end of the book. Take a look later. So let's do again 54 a little bit in tempo. Again. Our next instrument is the Cuica. I would say it's the most exotic Brazilian instrument. In fact, it's not a Brazilian instrument. We can see cuicas since the Middle Ages. We can have mentions in cuicas, or what they call roncadores. So, but it's became pretty much a Brazilian instrument. So the Brazilian cuica. It's pretty much a drum, a small drum, with a skin. And in this skin, we're gonna have attached a stick. So we're gonna have a stick attached to the drum head. So, and with a piece of cloth, so a wet piece of cloth, we just have to wet it. And what we're gonna do is gently cover the stick and push for both sides. So this friction movement is gonna produce the sound. The technique we're gonna use for the cuica is pretty much two sounds, one lower sound and one higher sound. To get the lower sound, I advise not to really completely get the fingers off, maybe too low. So, slightly touch your middle finger to get off a little bit of the overtones instead of completely loose. That's going to be your lower sound. To get the higher sound, you press with your index finger and the middle finger, you press against the drum head. And once you press along the stick, you're going to have the higher sound. So you're going to have a lower sound and a higher sound. That's going to be the two sounds we're going to work with the cuica. Exercise 55. Be sure you have the same sound both ways. all the exercise start with the first motion to the outside of the drum. So 55. Next exercise, 56. Now you're going to work in a higher sound. Be sure you have the same sound both ways. Exercise 57 is a combination between the lower sound and the higher sound. Exercise 58 is also a combination with a lower sound and a higher sound, but now a little bit faster. Exercise 59, the same thing in a faster movement, combining higher sound and lower sound. And the last one, exercise number 60. Now we're going to have a Brazilian pattern called Samba Partido Alto. That's a very used pattern on Brazilian music.